Hey everyone, my name is Rafiat and you're welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time of stopping by, you're welcome, and if you're an old subscriber, you're also welcome. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make Tom Brown. Tom Brown is ideal for both children and adults, and it is filled with so many amazing nutrients. So let's get right into it. For reference sake, we're going to be measuring with 250 ml cup, and this is what a standard measuring cup looks like, and that's what we're going to be using in this video. And I'm going to be starting off with 2 cups of soya beans. The soya beans are going to be a great source of protein to the Tom Brown. As we all know, soya beans are rich in protein and fiber, and it's also cholesterol free. So it's something we really want to add when making your own Tom Brown. You can replace with regular white beans or brown beans, that's fine. So all I'm doing now is to sort the soya beans thoroughly, because most of the time these grains, they come with stones, sand, hair strands, and all sorts of things. So always make sure you sort any grain you intend to use. Tom Brown is one mixed grain cereal that is highly recommended for both children and adults. So after sorting the soybeans, go ahead and add some hot water, and after that you're going to allow this to rest for about 30 minutes so that you can take off the peel. And the next grain we have here is corn. I'm using yellow corn. You can use the white one, that's fine. So as usual, I'm going to sort this. The corn is going to be a major source of carbohydrates, of energy in our Tom Brown. So now you're seeing that at the end of the day, what we are trying to achieve is a balance of different nutrients. You're going to get different nutrients from the different grains. Next up, we have millet. You see this millet, don't miss this one because it's very rich in fiber, and you know fiber aids digestion. So don't miss this one. And I'm going to sort this one as well. So please note that there is a difference between millet and guinea corn. Like I'm going to show you the one that is guinea corn. This one is millet, and it's rich in so many nutrients. And one very important nutrient that it is rich in is calcium. And you know, calcium is very important in building the body's bones. And you know that as children are growing, they need all the support they can get from nutrition. And that is why a lot of mothers are encouraged to incorporate Tom Brown in their children's diets. So look at all the plenty stones I packed out from this millet. You see why it's important to sort all the grains you want to use. Don't skip this step. So this one is wheat. In fact, once you know about wheat, the only thing that will come to your mind is fiber. This one is rich in fiber. So fiber is good for digestion, very good for digestion. Experts always recommend that anytime you have digestion problem with digestion or anything like that, you're advised to consume more fiber. So wheat is going to add a lot of fiber to this Tom Brown. And this is guinea corn. Okay, so a lot of people mistake guinea corn for millet and vice versa. Okay, this one is guinea corn. It's also called great millet or sorghum. So you can call it sorghum or great millet or guinea corn. As usual, I'm going to sort this one. So this is rich in calcium, it's rich in magnesium and antioxidants and fiber as well. I'm also going to be using oats, and of course the oats doesn't have to be sorted. It's ready to be used like this. And I'm going to be using tiger nuts. Tiger nuts is actually optional, but the more nutrients the better. And in addition to that, I'm going to be using peanuts or groundnuts. This is also optional, but I like adding this because it has this flavor, it adds to the Tom Brown, and it's also filled with nutrients. And to sweeten the Tom Brown, I'm going to be using dates as a natural sweetener. You can decide to sweeten with sugar, but we are trying to do everything natural, everything organic. So I'm using dates for this, and don't forget to take out the seeds of the dates. Very important. Please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so and hit the like button and turn on the notification bell as well. Aside being very sweet, dates are actually known to improve brain health and alertness. So now back to the soya beans. You can use a mashing spoon or your hands to take off the peel. It's very optional to take off the peel, but I was looking for a light colored Tom Brown at the end of the day, so that's why I took off the peel. You can decide to leave the peel on. That's absolutely fine. Okay, it doesn't change anything. So after taking off the peel, I'm going to transfer this to a tray because remember Tom Brown is dry. we're not going to blend them wet. So go ahead and spread this on a tray, and you can use an oven to dry, you can use a dehydrator, but I decided to sun dry. And for the rest of the ingredients, I'm not just going to sun dry immediately. I'm going to rinse them thoroughly, because most of these things we buy them directly from the markets where they are exposed to all sorts of conditions. So in anything you're doing, please always make sure to rinse your grains thoroughly. I know you might feel it's going to be wet after rinsing. Don't worry about that. You can easily dry them, but rinsing them is a must. So if you intend to make Tom Brown in large quantity, you can easily double this recipe. That's fine. It's also a good business idea if you're a stay-at-home mom and you're looking for a business to start. Steal this recipe or start your own business. So go ahead and rinse all the ingredients. One thing I want to mention is that some people add rice to their Tom Brown. And the reason why a lot of people add rice, aside the nutritional value of adding energy, carbohydrates to the Tom Brown, another reason people like to add rice is that, especially when you add the rice with the husk, it's going to prevent clumping in the Tom Brown. After blending, it's going to prevent clumping. But I'm not storing my own for so long. That's why I didn't bother adding the rice. You know, after blending rice, it's very gritty. It's very rough to touch. So that roughness is going to help the Tom Brown not clump easily and indirectly increase the shelf life. But I don't intend to keep mine for so long. That's why I didn't add rice. I also heard some people add crayfish, but I've never done that. So after washing all the grains, go ahead and spread, and you're going to allow this to sun dry for about an hour or just until dry. It was very sunny on this day, so it just took about 1 hour to dry. And please make sure when you sun dry them, they are not exposed to flies and all that. So you can even put a net over them when you're drying. And these are all the ingredients ready to be used, perfectly dried and everything. So exposing to the sun for about an hour is fine. So I didn't expose the oats and the groundnuts because I didn't wash them. No need to wash those ones. The next step is to toast the ingredients, and I'm starting off with the wheat. The reason you want to toast your ingredients, two major reasons. First of all, is going to improve the flavor, and how this happens is that as you're toasting them, the ingredients is going to release its own natural oils and flavor. That way the flavor is going to be enhanced. The second reason is that it helps the Tom Brown last longer. Though toasting is optional, but I recommend that you do it. Okay, so after toasting the wheat, I took it out of the pan, and now I'm toasting the soya beans. The reason I'm toasting them differently is that different ingredients have their different toasting times. For instance, the soya beans took a longer time, way more than the wheat. So don't just pour everything into a pan and toast. I prefer doing it this way, but whichever method works for you, that is fine. The measurements and details and everything else will be in the box below, okay? But generally, I'm using a simple ratio. Most of the ingredients I used 2 cups, and I used half cup of groundnut and 1 cup of tigernut and 1 cup of oats. But I'll put all that in the box below so you can easily check that out. And the major reason why Tom Brown is recommended for kids, majorly kids, and of course adults can take it, is because of the amount of nutrients here. So when you have different grains that are contributing their own unique and important nutrients and function into a cereal, why won't you use that for kids? And you don't even need, one thing I really like is that you don't even need any extra sugar. The dates in there will provide the sweetness that you need. If you don't want to use dates, you can use coconut sugar, you can use jaggery, anything that is not just processed sugar or refined sugar will do the job. So now I'm toasting the granules. I'm just doing a simple toasting, or you can actually use store-bought roasted granules. That will actually work well, just the way this one will work. So I'm just going to toast this, and after toasting, I'm going to allow this to cool down before taking off the husk. Some people don't take off the husk. It's optional, absolutely optional. You must not take it off, but I decided to take mine off because I wanted a light colored Tom Brown, and if you blend with the back, you're going to get dark colored, which is also okay. And after toasting the ingredients for a few minutes, we have the roasted corn, followed by the roasted wheat, and of course the roasted guinea corn. I just felt like layering these ingredients, and followed by the roasted millet, the soya beans, and the oats, which is going to give our Tom Brown a stretchy feel. We also have the roasted groundnut, and of course the dates, that is the sweetener, and finally the tiger nuts. 9 ingredients filled with nutrients. You can even make it 10 by adding rice if you want to. Like I said earlier, a lot of people add rice to their Tom Brown, and that's fine. And this is what we have, loaded with nutrients. Nutrients that both children, adults, you should really incorporate Tom Brown into your meals. You're going to love it. It's very easy to make and really, really affordable. It's something you can easily whip up and you can always make in bulk and store for future use. After mixing everything together, now let's get into another very important part of this video. Make sure you are using a very strong blender. This blender that I'm using is one of Nigeria's best-selling blender currently. It's the BMP blender and it is 2200 watts and is worth all the hype. If you know me, you know I'm always hyping this blender because it's very, very strong, and I got it from Home Finds by Rafi, so do check them out on Instagram. You can blend in batches to make everything fast and of course easier. At the end of the day, for the measurements I'm using for all the ingredients you saw in the bowl, it took about 4 batches, yeah, about 4 batches to blend, and that's it. It's very, very easy to blend if you're using a blender that is as strong as the BMP blender. Get yourself a BMP blender and just forget anything about you and blender, because the blender can crush absolutely any ingredients you want it to. Now look at this, it came out perfect powder. Why do you need to go to a commercial grinder when you have a blender as strong as this? This is really impressive. Imagine crushing all those hard ingredients to powder like this. So that's it for the Tom Brown. It's very easy to make and you can do this in bulk. Like I said, you can divide the recipe into two if you want to make a smaller quantity. And that's it. So one important thing about Tom Brown is that you have to store this properly. You don't want to put it in any random container. Please make sure you store your Tom Brown properly. And I'm going to be storing in airtight containers. These containers are 2.3 liters, so they are quite big. So it means that I made quite large quantity of the Tom Brown, and I'm going to put the link of where you can get your containers, the printer that I use, and everything else you need in the box below. And that's pretty much it for the Tom Brown, but I'm going to show you how to make this into something you can easily eat, of course. So I immediately kept one jar in my pantry and I'm going to be using from the second jar. So I'm going to add about 5 tablespoons of the Tom Brown powder into a bowl, and then I'm going to dissolve this with warm water. Warm water please, not hot water. You're going to stir this continuously to get rid of any lumps at all. The 5 tablespoon measurement is ideal for 2 adults. So if you're making for your baby, please don't make up to that. So I'm just going to add about half cup of water into a pot, and once it starts boiling, I'm going to add the Tom Brown mixture into this while stirring. One thing about making this is that you have to stir continuously. Don't just leave the Tom Brown. Make sure you stir continuously. You're going to keep stirring this until you get the desired thickness. And that's it. It's very easy. No need for sugar, because remember we put dates in the Tom Brown. So you don't have to add any processed sugar. You see why Tom Brown is really amazing. Thank you so much for coming this far. Thank you for watching this video, and I'm going to see you in my next one.